Hey guys, I'm back today with my 10 cards, 1 kit for the Love from Lizi September Super Kit. Here are my card bases. I brought in my own white card bases, but as you can see there, one of them is not white. I actually bring in a different color later on. Either way, it doesn't matter. But I went ahead and cut them and put them aside. Here's the decoupage sheet where I am going to go ahead and punch everything out and treat these sentiments as ephemera. And then here I'm going to put the girls together for you real quick so you can see what it's like to work with decoupage sheets if you haven't before. You see I pointed to what looked like, or what was C1. So this girl is C, and you take all the C parts and put her together, and then the two other ones were A and B. So as you can see, you need Stampin' or some sort of dimensionals. I'm using Stampin' Dimensionals and just putting the pieces together. Now you can see like this foundation piece, or the base piece I like to call it. You can use that by itself and like that in the center as ephemera. You don't have to layer it. For this one, I didn't use the legs on the far right. I did not layer the legs on there. So it's whatever your preference is. I just wanted to go in and put these together before I started my card making. I don't use all of them, but they're together and they're in my little ephemera pack, so they're ready to use when I want to in the future. The kit is unfortunately sold out. I checked before doing the voiceover, and this voiceover will go live in a couple hours. Or this video will go live in a couple hours. Most of the add-ons are sold out as well. There is one stamp set that I'll use that is still available. I will link what's available. You can always go on Lizi's site and kind of peruse around and see what products she has. But anyway, moving on. Card 1, I wanted to use this stencil, and what I'm doing is I'm going directly with Hickory Smoke ink, I believe, Distress ink. I'm going directly on the card base and stenciling out this Spiderweb. I love this stencil, and like I said in my unboxing, if you caught it, I'm very picky with stencils, but this one was really cool. I like how the swirls, and I like how the stencil came out. I used it a couple times in this video. So I just stenciled that out lightly. I kind of wanted a tone on tone, and I go ahead and use some ephemera pieces to add to the card, and that completes card 1. Very simple. Card 2, I've taken 3 of the pieces of pattern paper and cut a 1-inch strip, and I'm going to adhere those down. Then I took some black cardstock, as you see at the top, and I used a fringe die. I think it's from MFT. It was one of their free with 60s a long time ago. And I cut some out with, or I cut that die out with black cardstock to create a fringed look. Here that is. I take some of the glimmer paper, and here's the die. The glimmer paper was an add-on. I don't even know if the glimmer paper is available anymore. I will link what is available, just so you guys know. But then I'll link to her shop so you can always go and look to see what other things she has that has nothing to do with this video. So I take a piece of glimmer paper, I cut a strip off, and glimmer paper was an add-on. Did I already say that? So go ahead and attach that down, then trim it up. And then I use some of that specialty cardstock to cut out a stitched circle. And then I attached my little decoupage piece that I had put together in the beginning of the video. I love this image so much. This image, there is an add-on stamp set. And as of doing voiceover, this is the only stamp set that's available. The other add-on stamp set is not. So if you love that girl, I would grab that stamp set. Here I'm attempting to use the Brusho. And I don't know. It's my first time using Brusho. But I put it aside. And I grabbed this Nouveau Shimmer Powder that was an add-on as well. And oh my gosh, I love the Nouveau Shimmer Powder. Now, Brusho is great. I know a lot of people use Brusho. But does the cap even come off? Like, I know you probably don't want to take the cap off because it'll go everywhere. But I don't know. I was going to take it off carefully. Anyway, I poked a pin through it, a pin, like a straight pin, and I don't know. It's real easy to poke through the cap, and I know people do that, but it just didn't come out enough. I need to practice with it, work with it. So anyway, I dry that, and there is so much shimmer. Here I show you. It looks almost wet, but it is completely dry and shimmer. And now I must have all the colors. So that the shimmer powder I was very impressed with. Loved it. I'll work more with the brush though, because I know it's popular. I know it's a good product, but I didn't have much luck with it initially. So here I'm going to add a strip of ribbon that comes in the kit. I'm just using glue dots to adhere the ribbon down. And then as you see, I have my ephemera pieces laid out that I plan on using. I've already put Stampin' Dimensionals on them, I'm pretty sure. Tried to do that off camera. And I'm going to go ahead and place them out. This one is probably my favorite card. I love this one. And of course, the ephemera pieces are so cool. And I had a ton left over, which you'll briefly see when I show you what's left of the kit. And then I add a bow. And that will complete. Oh no, I add a bunch of sequins. This one's my favorite card. I love that shimmer powder. I can't get enough. I'm going to have to order some more. It is so pretty. Of course, it's Nuvo product, so you know it's going to be great. So I'm just using glue dots to attach the sequins, which has always worked for me. I've always had good luck with that. You can use wet adhesive if you want. And that completes that card. For card 4, I have taken a piece of this beautiful glimmer paper that was a part of the add-on glitter pack. And I am using a piece of the pattern paper, and I just used a die to cut it at a curve. And then I used a circle die to cut out the circle glimmer paper. And I'm going to attach this little bat girl. This is the ephemera piece I put together at the beginning. Go ahead and attach her. And then I will attach the spooky sentiment. And then I add, this is caramel. I'm not sure the exact name of the color. It'll be listed below. But it is an add-on. And it went perfectly with this pattern paper and that glimmer paper. It was just really pretty. So I just added some Nuvo drops to that, and that completes that card. For card 5, I've used a Your Next stamp die. It's kind of like, looks like ripped paper. And I'm taking this piece of pattern paper with the spiderwebs on it. And this card I really love too. It's also one of my favorites. So the ephemera pieces had floral die cuts. And I wanted to use those for sure. And I speed this up really fast because I kind of spend a little bit of time on it. And I attach all those floral pieces to this card, and I add the skull and pumpkin to make it a little bit Halloweenish. But if you didn't want a Halloween card, you could just use the floral pieces. And I just love the color combo of this, and I just really, I don't know, I really like it. So I go ahead and attach all these. I'm using glue dots, kind of tucking in the floral pieces behind the larger one. I also love that pumpkin. That's like a little smirk in those eyelashes. It's a sassy pumpkin. Once I get all my pieces attached, I will go ahead and add, well, right now, sequins. And then that will complete that card. For card 6, I am bringing in the stencil again, and I'm using Vintage Photo distress ink. And I wanted to use, you know, the first 5 cards I used the ephemera pieces. I wanted to make sure for this one card I used one of the wooden pieces. So I love the spider, and a couple people have done this look with the spider hanging from the card panel, but I wanted to go ahead and have the spider web match my little spider. So first I used the vintage photo to stencil out the spider web on this piece of, this is watercolor paper, it was sitting next to me. And I'm taking my oxide ink in Gathered Twigs, because these, I love Distress Oxide ink, and the fact that they can stamp, it's just beautiful. So I go ahead and stamp out Happy Halloween, and then I cut out a really thin strip of the glimmer paper that matches the brown tones, and I'm going to have her hanging from a glimmer piece, glimmer web, because she's the fancy spider with her eyelashes and bow. So I go ahead and attach that glitter piece, trim it, and I will attach the spider. I do put this card on a brown card base. The brown cardstock is from my stash. It's not something that came in the kit. But I had it against the white, and I did not like the way it looked, because the watercolor paper I'm using is not as white as the card base. So I stuck with the brown, and the brown looks a lot better. So for the next cards, I did 5 with the ephemera. I'll have another one as well. I wanted to do a wood piece, and then I wanted to use the stamp sets that I got with the kit. So these 2 ladies are part of the stamp set that came with the kit. And I stamped out both, intended to use both, but the one on the left, I did not like the way I colored it, couldn't find a way to use it. So I'm just going to show you my really speedy way of coloring this girl, which I end up using. The kit, this stamp set that comes with the kit, not the add-on, came with coordinating dies, which was brilliant. And I have to say, if you haven't noticed, the coordinating dies aren't together. There's no clipping involved, which I love that Lizi did that. And I've always raved when stamp companies do that, where the dies aren't connected and you don't have to cut them. It's so handy, because I don't know about you, but I can never get a clean cut. And I've been poked too many times by those little metal pieces. So I love that she manufactured them in a way that they do not connect. So my color scheme, I had the ephemera piece kind of off to the side. I was kind of using that as inspiration. And I wanted to make sure to use colors that would coordinate with the pattern paper that came in the kit. This card that I use her on is also one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorites in this kit. This kit was like, by far, with all the Lizi kits, this is my #1. Definitely one of my favorites. So here are the dies, and I just pulled them out of the package. Already cut, pretty. Go ahead and tape it down and run it through my Big Shot. I had to bring in more of this Nouveau shimmer powder. And again, I use that Your Next stamp die that looks like ripped paper. And I go ahead and spray it. It's just so pretty. I love, whatever, I'm done talking about it. Highly recommend these shimmer powders. And again, it looks wet, but it is all shimmer. It's just lovely. Anyway, take this piece of pattern paper with the skulls and go ahead and wrap some of the black ribbon around it. You've seen, if you've watched my videos, you've seen me do this a million times. This is how I do ribbon. Attach this to my card base. I'm using the gray cardstock. And then I put fun foam on the back of this panel. I like the fun foam because it gives it full coverage as far as using making it dimensional because the paper was warped a little. So these two glimmer paper little hexagon shapes were from the bee kit Lizzie has. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use this. It just creates some texture to the card. And I go ahead and attach her down. Add some glue to kind of adhere some pieces that were coming up. So if you have any dies with some weird shapes or, you know, whatever, bring them out and try them. I'm trying to be more adventurous because I have two little things full of dies, two little mini crates, and I never dig through them. And it's like, what can I do with these dies? So something as simple as that. Stretch your dies further than just what it's intended for. Add the sentiment and bow, and that completes that card. For card 8, I have used a piece of the pattern paper, and I used a corner chomper or whatever you want to call it and rounded the corners. And then I'm going to go ahead and add all my little pieces, my ephemera pieces, and then this is the card I originally was going to use the other girl in, but I didn't like the way it looked, so I brought in the owl ephemera piece. Go ahead and attach her to a silver glimmer piece of cardstock that I used a circle punch to cut out of. And that completes that card. Really easy. Love that little owl. Oh my gosh. So for the next card, card 9, I'm using this stamp set. And as a voiceover, this stamp set is still available. So I take the broom, because I already used the ephemera piece of that witch. So I was trying to use a variety of supplies. And I just stamp the broom out and on this strip of Spectrum Noir cardstock. And I'm just quickly coloring them. And the colors I'm choosing are inspired by the ephemera pieces. Again, I wanted to stay with the color scheme of the kit because I was going to use pattern paper and I wanted it to match. So I quickly color these using some light purple and lavender. So pretty. Who would ever thought a broom would be pretty? Go ahead and attach this to my card, my pattern paper I chose. And then I use the peel-offs to finish off the edges of this white. Sorry I'm zoomed in so much. I zoom in and then I forget I'm zoomed in and then I'm halfway off the camera. I go ahead and use the purple peel-offs and finish off the edges, as I like to do if you've been here for a while. I feel like this kit is one of the kits that either the first time or in a while where I really used everything that came in the kit at least once. And that includes the add-ons. That's hard to do sometimes with just 10 cards because Lizzie's kits come with so much. And I felt inspired by everything that came in the kit. I just love it. Go and attach this to the purple card base, and then I go ahead and I used a circle punch to cut out a piece of glimmer paper that was a part of the add-on glimmer pack, and then this sentiment, I put a spell on you. I thought that went cute with the brooms. Even though I hated that it covered up some of my brooms, but that will complete that card. Really simple. For the final card, of course, save the best for last, this bat. I couldn't bring myself to use the bat ephemera. I probably will keep that, maybe hang it on my wall. It's just so precious. So I just stamped the image, and again, I am using my Copic markers to color them. I'm looking at the ephemera piece off camera, and I'm trying to replicate it, the ears at least. As you can see, I'm bringing in purples and then like a beige. Just experimenting. These colors necessarily don't blend all that well together, but I kept working with it and got it to where I liked it. And I liked that the tips were a lighter, the tips of the ears were a lighter color, that beige color. I think it turned out really well. Looking at it now off, you know, as it's sat here for a day, I like the way it looked. I like the way it came out. So I colored the wings darker here in a second, and then I will color the little nose pink. And I just realized looking at the card now, I forgot to color its little legs. But then I add some dots to create some texture for the bat. I do fussy cut out the bat, really easy. I take this circle and put a glue dot on it and temporarily adhere it to my card panel. And I'm just taking various distress inks. I think this is Wilted Violet. Yeah, Wilted Violet, then Dusty Concord, and go ahead and blueprint sketch. And I'm attempting to do a night sky. And then I take some black soot. The circle is supposed to be the moon, so I will remove that after I spray some water here with some water droplets. So I've removed the circle now, and you have this bright spot, and having the lighter colors near the moon creates that illusion that it is bright. I've taken tea dye and burlap. I know that's not the name, but it's the burlap one. And I'm just adding a little bit of texture to the moon so it's not so white and it doesn't look, it looks more realistic with a little bit of shading to it. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment directly on the card panel. I used my embossing bag to get rid of any static. Go ahead and heat emboss that in white embossing powder, and then I add a wobbler to my little bat, and I'll just attach that to the card once I attach this to the card base. And I just love that little bat. I could color that bat all day. Go ahead and attach the wobbler, and that will complete that card. So cute. So in a moment here, I will show you everything I have left in the kit. A ton of stuff. Like I said, the kit is sold out, but I will list what I can below as far as the add-ons and all that, if you're interested. If you like this kit, Lizi's kits are great. I have a ton of videos on Lizi's kits, so if you're new here, definitely go check those out and consider maybe subscribing. That way you're guaranteed a kit. Kits do come from the UK. When you go to her website, up on the top right-hand corner, you can change the currency to US dollars if you're in the US, or Canadian if you're in Canada. That way you get the pricing, you don't have to convert it, as I think it defaults to pounds. But let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite card was. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for sticking around. And I think that's it. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.